was torturing Malachi and telling him that they was torturing the sisters. His name gonna pop in my head in a minute. He one of them flat earthers. And he really, his math be all fucked up. But he swear he be right. Anyway, so with the Malachi case, this man is being subject to government-sanctioned torture tactics normally used to extract information from suspected espionage agents captured by the FBI, CIA, or military intelligence. Brother Sanchez, he the one. He the one. He don't realize that because you are against false allegations and because you against the false convictions and because you've deconstructed the whole fallacy, then all of a sudden now you want to go with what the man say. You want to believe the white man lies. And look, I don't care what they say. I'm still going to follow the process. I'm still going to sing the truth from the mountaintop. Yeah, Prodigy wrote it in his letter from jail. And he said, remember, in that same letter, he said Jay-Z and Jazzo know. Right? Then he pointed out the fact that Jay-Z and Jazzo was repping Malachi. Then all of a sudden, now they want to distance themselves from the brother that's struggling. See, they got this thing in our community. I don't know where we get it from, but I know it ain't from us. When a righteous man fall, we don't fucking fight. We don't say nothing. We go shut the fuck up and sit in the corner. Yeah, that explains a lot. If he was in the military, he's thoroughly indoctrinated by the military camp. Right? I'm from the block. Thoroughly educated on my own with no aid of the university and no aid of the military. They can't control me. Then you got motherfuckers calling me an agent. Yep, you can call me an agent all you want. It still ain't gonna stop the fact that the people that's calling me agents is the agent. Trying to make people look at me in some funny kind of way. I'm not finna fall for none of the banana in the tailpipes that y'all fell for. Go on and sign your 360 record deal so they can flip you 360 and go ask a hooker what is the 360 on the streets. And she gonna tell you what a 360 is, and then your mouth gonna drop. Right? Then your mouth gonna drop. So, look, all of these celebrities, I don't give two shits about a celebrity. I don't care nothing about no celebrity gossip, celebrity drama. All I know is we got chiefs in the entertainment industry flipping us codes to tell us who doing the dirt behind the scenes, but we so busy following the trendy gossip that we can't find the message that they told us. So, since Rod Hayes don't know what he talking about, I guess Ice Cube don't know what he talking about. I guess Raekwon, the chief, the chef, don't know what we talking about. I guess ODB don't know what he talking about. I guess LL Cool J don't know what he talking about. Flavor Flav don't know what he talking about. Tupac, he don't know what he talking about. Nas don't know what he talking about. All these brothers is from over here. They ancestral bloodlines from over here. Kevin Gates, Big L, all of them know we from over here. But all of a sudden now, all of these thinking, box living, they live in a box. And because I don't fit in their boxes, they just assume that I ought to go along to get along with their bullshit. I ain't with it. I'm not with it. I'm not part of it. I'm not party to it. And as a matter of fact, I'm belligerent to it. I'm against it. I'm the antithesis of your thesis. I am the antagonist to your story. I am the one who you didn't want to say was going to come tell these motherfuckers we was already here, because that's what I was given the responsibility to do. right? George Clinton, he said he from over here. Don King said he one of us from over here. Bill Cosby, go, the Jacksons, they Choctaw. But we don't want to acknowledge none of them. We only want to acknowledge the one that's written up in the Dawes Roll. And they come with this fake ass DNA shit that tests less than 1% of the DNA, and they can't tell you what tribe you from Africa, but they can say you from Africa. What's my tribe if I'm from Africa? I had a post the other day. I put up, the brother say he was talking to this black law student. He said, name me 5 ethnic groups brought from Africa to America. They couldn't name one. He said, name me 5 ethnic groups brought from Europe. He said half of them can name 20. This ought to tell you something. This ought to tell you something. Then, yeah, Lionel Richie, the list is long. I can't even name them all. Quincy Jones, Cindy Poitier, all of these people is organic to the Americas, right? Then Henry Louis Gates, one of the founders of 21andMe or some shit, whatever the hell his name is, he told you when he told you about Oprah being Zulu, they was making it up as they go, but we supposed to just go along to get along with the narrative the enemy told us to follow. That's a dead-end search for people that never existed. There has never in the history of the world been a tribe called niggers. There has never in the history of the world been a tribe or clan called Afro-Americans, African Americans. None of these tribes don't exist, right? But the Slavs can tell you they Slavic, right? The Russians can tell you they Russians. But when we tell you we was already here, organic, native to the land, Mississippi, clay, dirt, walking, then all of a sudden we don't know what we talking about. When our uncles is having powwows, right? Strategy meetings to overcome the enemy and how we going to teach these children to overcome the obstacle. And now let's go back and activate this plan. Go drop a seed in one of these babies' ears and he's going to figure it out. Look, Henry Louis Gates said he was sitting there watching the news. His partner was in the laboratory putting together Oprah's DNA genetic profile. Henry Louis, it's on my page. If you scroll down, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Henry Louis Gates he said, did you see the news? So his partner was like, no, I ain't seen the news. What's going on? He said, Oprah, she just said she was Zulu. He said, I ain't done with her blood work yet. He said, what do you want to do about it? I said, hell, we making it up as we go anyway. Might as well make her Zulu. Right? All this in our face. Look, Smokey Robinson is a Hyoka High chief. Little Richard is Chief Screaming Hawk. He didn't name himself that. Right? Chuck Berry. All of these people is natives to this land. James Brown from the Browns clan. Those old Cleveland Indians that was named that by invaders. And then when they realized that the face of the Indian, the Cleveland Indian, was darker than the $5 Indians, they had to get that shit off these helmets before they started putting shit together. We got to change the mascots of all of them Mississippi clay dirt red skin nappy haired Negroes. We got to change all of the mascots so we can conceal that. Go look at the early mascots of the American Baseball League, the NFL, right? All of these, they had the mascots that look like us, but you think that once our hair grow to a certain length, it stay nappy. It don't stay nappy. My hair done been down to here, right? With no perm in it. And when I comb it out, it look wavy straight. But when it's short like this, that shit look like motherfucking BB shots and Robonauts. This is not about hair texture or skin color. This is about knowing who you is and asserting your right to claim what's yours because of who you are by the blood and the right. And if you don't know your blood and your rights, you lost in the sauce. Get off my page with that bullshit. Now, let's get into this Israel. The International Criminal Court has issued an arrest warrant for senior Israeli officials, including Benny Netanyahu. Right? Most of us don't know. The Mossad is the Israeli Secret Service. Every one of us that's interested in knowing what's going on, it's a book called By Way of Deception. And it's written by a retired Mossad agent against the orders of the Mossad. And I don't even know if he's still living. But he was highlighting something called the Operation Exodus, right? And Operation Exodus was going on in the 80s. And they was bringing Falasha Hadendawa tribe members from Ethiopia, and they was airlifting them into modern day Israel in order to justify their position on the land by incorporating the original so-called tribes from the land and repatriating them back to Gaza, which is the underlying justification for wiping out the Philistines, aka the Palestinians. Right? This was all 100 years earlier with the Balfour Declaration in World War I. This is all part of the culmination of the Balfour Declaration. And pale people, that's not true. He was killing any one of the dirty Moors he caught, whether they was a mulatto or not. They just showed you the mulatto branch of the family tree, but they don't show you the Negro branch of the family tree. The dirty Moors, them dark nappy head motherfuckers he was executing, they don't tell you about. Right? He knew what he was up against, and the Jewish rabbis say, what's the first two laws he passed before he took power? Right? The first one of the first ones was no interest on the money. If you take the interest off the money, that kills something called inflation, and it undermines central banking thievery process. Yeah. So anyway, so let me get back to this. Get to reading these comments, and y'all be to send me off on a tangent in another direction. Okay, so once Palestine was decided on, it's not the first location on the list. You got to remember that as well. When the United Nations was trying to establish the so-called homeland for these people, don't exist nowhere in history for real, right? They made up everywhere they go. They not native to nowhere on earth. Where they come from? Critical thinking. Where did if they not native nowhere on the planet, where did they come from? There's only two places they could come from if they not native nowhere. They either coming from a laboratory or they coming from outer space. Whichever one of them it is, they don't have a superior claim under the grandfather clause than the ones who was already here when they was created, brought here, or wherever the fuck they from. They got us fighting these little mini wars that keep us handicapped, resources depleted, and it keeps us scattered so we can't unify and bust their ass upside the head once and for all. Look, America, the United States, Ronald Wilson Reagan, George Herbert Walker Bush, and Oliver North was prosecuted for the Iran-Contra Guns for Drugs program. We got a short-term memory because we don't remember Iran-Contra. With Iran-Contra, they got convicted and they got what they call censured. That means they slapped them on the wrist and said, don't you do that no more, and get caught. Oliver North got the worst sentence. I think he got 2 years probation and 1 day in prison or jail. Right? So they got caught in their law. I didn't write this law. I'm just going to tell you what it say. It says the government cannot create a crime, lure the citizen into the criminal activity, and then arrest and prosecute the citizen for the crime that the government established to begin with. That's their law, not mine. It's a violation of the United States Code 1984, color of law. And the government cannot go in disguise, operating on the highways under the color of law with the express purpose of depriving the people of a right. The police job is to detain and arrest anybody, there are no restrictions, anybody that they deem is committing a criminal act. You gotta remember that. Because the criminal acts that the outlaw tribes are guilty of is refusal to do business with the foreign entity and agents, refusal to sign treaties with liars and backbiters and backstabbers. This is what we guilty of, right? So we already hostile to the corporation, and the only reason I'm telling you this is because the Supreme Court said those non-treaty tribes are hostile to the United States survival. They invented a whole combatant program called counterintelligence program. If you counterintelligence, what are you enforcing if it ain't ignorance? Right? If you centralize intelligence, it's all focused on one point. But we don't pay attention to the words because we don't know what words mean. Half these motherfuckers that come out here talking trash to Rod Hayes have never looked up the most simplest words they use in their day-to-day language and swear they know exactly what they talking about, and they don't have a fucking clue. Ricky Ross was a prime example, and if y'all remember, the police that brought Ricky Ross' case to the forefront, which also served in being party to his liberation from the system, was none other than the original investigator of the Christopher Wallace homicide, known as Detective Poole. His name was Poole. And he came out and he was the one who told that his investigation led him to discover that it was corrupt police officers involved in the drugs program with the CIA and the FBI, which was a drug trafficking this was all part of Iran-Contra. Now, why are they over there in the Middle East? Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, what they want over there. If you go and do the research, after the 9/11 invasion of Afghanistan, opium fields was being guarded by U.S. military to prevent the Mujahideen that became known as the Taliban, that was created by the CIA. Y'all don't know that because y'all ain't paying attention. The Mujahideen was created by the CIA to stop the Russian incursion into Afghanistan. And they financed a young man by the name of Osama bin Laden to be the leader of the Mujahideen, and they provided him with small arms. They provided him with massive amounts of currency They provided him with military intelligence. They provided him with everything he needed to fight his Mujahideen war against the Russians. Ain't that something? Remember who I told y'all came help us in the Civil War? Why they trying to stop Russia? Why they all in the Russian folks' business? Russia ain't coming over here getting in the middle of America and Mexico or America and Canada. So why in the hell is America